Dear Mr. President, dear judges, dear fellow Toastmasters and guests, have you ever been stressed? I guess you have. Now, can you help me and tell me 3 possible sources of stress?
Work.
More?
Transport.
Passport?
Moscow Metro.
Moscow Metro, okay.
Information.
These are possible sources of stress. And what can you do to relieve stress, to relax? Once again, can you help me? 3 varieties. Fitness.
Love.
What?
Love.
Alcohol.
Once again, what was it?
L-O-V-E.
Got it.
Does it exist?
Love and alcohol, right? Today I want to tell you about an interesting model, what stress is and how to deal with it. I learned about the model in a book of David Allen, Getting Things Done, The Art of Stress-Free Productivity. The essence of the model is, notice, as I understand it, is that you are stressed whenever you have several ideas in your head competing, because we are not naturally born to tackle several tasks at the same time. Let me give you an analogy of the process, of the model. I will demonstrate it to you. For example, I'm talking to you right now, right? And now, while I'm talking to you, go on, you can hear this beautiful music coming from my mobile phone. Now, imagine me, beautiful music, and Valentine's phone suddenly starts ringing, and Valeria's phone as well, and a couple of phones more in the audience. I don't know about you, but I wasn't very comfortable talking and listening to these noises and these virtual noises as well. So, but what can you do about it? First of all, according to the model, you should address each of these phone calls. So you have to understand what is the thought about, what can you do, if anything, about it, and when you should do it. Now, and then after you decided what you want to do about the thought, you should write it down somewhere, and then review it regularly. But some of you may ask, what is the problem with several thoughts at the same time? I can multitask easily, and we'll be just good. As I told you before, we are not naturally born to do it. For example, back in the 1950s, in the United States of America, a guy named George Miller published an article where he argued, based on the experiments he conducted, that normal people, average people, can hold in their working memory 7 ± 2 things. So you just can think about 7 ± 2 things, and when you have hundreds of thoughts about love, sex, alcohol, or Moscow Metro and other things, you don't have mental capacity to do it. You always train your brain, and this is because of your stress. This is theory. Let me give you an example. I will give you a quite simple mathematical task. Try to solve it holding all the data in your head. And then if you want to, you can write down the thing and try to solve it using the data on paper. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. You have 2 fishermen that caught 2 fish in 2 days. Now you have 6 fishermen. And how many fish they will catch in 6 days? 18. You see, the task is simple, but as you have to keep all these things in your head, you overstrain your brain. You have these 5 things in your brain, so you don't have much capacity to actually do some mathematical operations on them. And usually you have more complicated tasks attacking you at the same time. right? Not just fishermen catching fish in 6 days, probably your life, you're moving somewhere, you're changing job, and things like that. Now, this is why you should address your tasks, these phone calls, virtual phone calls, one at a time. But why you have to write things down? The first reason is obvious. You don't forget things as easily when you write them down and not just keep them in your head. And imagine a situation. You have a thought touching your mind. And if a thought is something you haven't tackled at the moment, so you don't have it written down, part of your mental resources goes to solving the problem. So you start overstraining your brain and getting stressed. That's why when you have things written down, and when an idea touches you, and you know that you already decided what you want to do and when you want to do it, you just can let the idea go. And probably the idea won't bother you as often. This is the model. So, next time you are stressed, granted, you may be stressed because of work, Moscow Metro, information, and you may relieve your stress by fitness, love, and alcohol. But on the other hand, you may think of the stress as a sign that you have several phone calls. And in this situation, you will relieve your stress and get something done in the process if you stop answering the phones.